Welcome to Get the Facts, the program that provides you with information on government's policies and initiatives. I'm Theodore Henry. Establishing a framework that prohibits the illicit trading of firearms and ammunition, and distinguishing the regulation of items that are lawfully acquired and duly registered, these are the objectives of the Firearms Prohibition, Restriction and Regulation Act 2022. A lot of information is laid out in the Act, but our able guest will break down the information clause by clause. She's Director of Corporate Communications and Client Relations at the Firearms Licensing Authority, FLA, Beverly Robinson. Welcome to the program, Ms. Robinson.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So, I mentioned right at the start there are two of the major goals of this new Act, or this updated Act. Are there any other goals of it, apart from?
Well, to allow for a framework for the efficient, would say, management of the private firearm industry in Jamaica.
Okay.
Right.
All right, so let's jump into the clauses. I'm sure you would recommend that everybody reads the thing for themselves.
Yes, we all need to read it.
All right, well, let me ask you some specific things. Now, Part 2 of the Act looks at the prohibitions in respect of firearms and ammunitions. What are some of the key changes in this area?
There are issues such as stockpiling. So you're not allowed to stockpile neither ammunition nor firearms.
Okay.
And if you do, then the penalty is going to be life imprisonment.
Yeah, as a private citizen.
Right. The discharge of your weapon must only be in protection of yourself or your personal property, or in protection of someone else and their personal property, or in the unusual case that you're protecting your property from a trespassing animal. Therefore, gun salutes are an offense.
Christmas time.
Right. And I mean, for events, we have this habit, some firearm license holders and illegal firearm license holders of celebrating with their firearms. And the sanctions, the penalties are very, very harsh, and it is an offense. There is also a tendency during special times of the year when we celebrate special events for people to attend events, and nobody's too sure who has the licensed firearm. It's probably with a brother, or it is probably secured in some container somewhere. That is illegal, and it's an offense.
What's the legal way of going about that?
Your firearm, the Act specifically states where your firearm should be stored at all times. So it must either be in a holster on your person, in a safe at your home, and the word safe is the operative word, not in the drawer underneath the bed, or underneath the mattress.
Safe.
Right. Or with the FLA, or with a police station. So anywhere else it is placed, you're committing an offense.
You had mentioned not with a brother. The holster has to be
on you.
The license.
Right.
Understood.
And if your firearm is lost or stolen, then the duty is on you to report it to the police the minute you discover that it is lost or stolen.
We're going to talk.
On the other hand, if you find a firearm, then you come in possession of a firearm by whatever reason, then your duty, that's a duty on you, whether you are a license holder or if it's not your firearm and you're a license holder, then you have a duty to report it to the police. You may be a medical person who is on a scene and you get in contact. Your duty is to report it to the police. And if you're a fireman, your duty is to report it to the police.
You said duty.
It is a duty.
So there are legal ramifications.
Yes, in the Act, it is clearly defined as a duty. Right.
Can we go back a little bit? You had mentioned when we were looking at part 2, the prohibition in respect of firearms and ammunition, that's stockpiling.
Yes.
Not a thing. What constitutes a stockpile?
Stockpiling is having firearms that you're not authorized. So let's say a licensed firearm holder.
Right.
The only firearms you're supposed to have are those that you're authorized to have. Mm-hmm. And by authorized, we don't mean that you got your license 10 years ago and you're still authorized.
Right.
Authorization means that you have renewed your license. It also means that you have come in and you have had your license registered.
Okay.
Right. So that is authorized.
All right.
Right. And the other level of authorized we're going to move to under the Act is that your firearm will be marked. Right. So every privately owned firearm in Jamaica will have a unique marking that will be engraved by the FLA. Mm. So that is another a new provision under the Act.
Right.
Right. So the FLA already has the machines, and so that is a process that will be starting very soon.
Understood. Any other new additions or changes?
Well, if you try to remove the markings that are placed on the firearm,
yes,
then it's an offense.
I'm looking here also at the fact that there is a restriction in respect of firearms and ammunition. Does that contain different clauses from the prohibitions in respect of the firearms and ammunition?
The restrictions have to do with where and how and under what circumstances you may use a firearm. Right, okay. Right. So like we spoke about discharging your firearm in a public space, right? And the restrictions would say, save in the event that you're protecting your life, you're protecting the life of someone, you're protecting your property, you're protecting the property of someone, you have a trespassing animal, you have gotten authority from the FLA to do so, or I think that literally covers it.
That covers it.
Yes.
All right, thank you so much.
Right.
We're not done yet with this conversation.
Okay.
Quite a bit more facts to get.
Okay.
And the conversation with Ms. Robinson continues on the other side of this break. It's a very interesting conversation. So please, stay with us.
Jamaicans, look on the murder rate. You think that normal? We need to get every illegal gun and save our country.
Welcome back to Get the Facts. We are discussing key changes in the new Firearms Act 2022 with Ms. Beverly Robinson, Director of Corporate Communications and Client Relations at the Firearms Licensing Authority, FLA. Ms. Robinson, we were discussing the Act, and I know that there have been some changes contained in the Act in relation to the FLA itself. What are some of those changes?
Well, within the context of the FLA, we are now empowered to put markings on firearms.
Right.
And that is revolutionary, because what it means is that if a licensed firearm is used to conduct any kind of illegal activity, it will be easily traced. Because in addition to the markings, we also are doing ballistic testings on the firearms under the Act. We're also empowered to do that. So we can trace bullet casings and warheads.
So this is prior, so in a practical sense, I'm coming into possession of a weapon. Before that is in my possession, the marking is done. The ballistics are taken, so it's on file before it comes into my possession.
Exactly. And in addition, a register is being kept by the Institute of Forensic Medicine, IFSLM. Right. And they will be the registrars for all the legal firearms that are in Jamaica. So those owned by the JCF, those owned by the JDF, and those which are licensed with the FLA.
Privately.
Right. So you will see that the net effect of this is a tightening up, right, so of the management, right, of the legal firearms. Right.
All right. And any other changes in FLA, just those major ones?
Well, I would say that I see as a major change, because it will entail expansion of our ballistic unit. We have technical expertise in ballistics at the FLA.
Okay.
And that will expand that function, that department, given the scope of the work that is needed to be done. Because those persons who already have firearms, those will also be marked. So those that are coming in will be marked and ballistically tested, and the existing ones will be marked as well and ballistically tested. Well, a number of them have already been ballistically tested. We have started the process. It's going forward. Right. In addition, we now require license for other categories. So our mandate has been expanded to provide license for manufacturers, for brokers, firearm brokers. Firearm manufacturers are those who will be allowed to manufacture firearms and ammunitions in Jamaica.
This is new.
Right, absolutely. And sell them in Jamaica. There are also gun license clubs that are associations or unions that have common interest and are solely for the purpose of, gun activities, recreational activities, etc. Right. Then there are the range operators and the range owners, and each category will also require to have licenses.
I noticed you made a distinction.
Right. There are
versus owner.
Right. There is a difference.
Yes.
Because you can own the range and not be operating it.
The day-to-day.
The day-to-day running of it. So if you're the operator, you will require a license. And if you're the owner, you will also require a license. Another category of industry players who will now require a license are the trainers. Because before, they were just FLA approved trainers, but now they will be licensed. So they will be required to apply for licenses. Right.
I'm noticing that while this is an act, and many times we have gotten the impression that acts mean more restrictions, I recognize that this act makes provision for new business.
Absolutely. There is also the transshipment permit that can be authorized by the Minister of National Security. Right? So if you are, for example, moving firearm and ammunitions, and say you stop at Jamaica and you're on board and you put on another ship, then that you need a permit for transit. You also need a permit. So yes, it is tightening up the industry in terms of effectively regulating and ensuring compliance with the act. Right, but it's also an opportunity for industry players and people outside of the industry to join in.
It sounds very comprehensive.
Right.
And I have to ask, and I'm sure many of our guests will have this question: has anything changed about the application process for having a firearm?
The application process remains the same.
Okay.
Right. The process remains the same.
Yes.
And people are able to download an application on our website, right? And all the new Firearm Act is there as well. And we also have a call center. You can follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, IG, Instagram, right? And you can also find us on Google Maps, and you can ask us questions on Google Maps. So the point I'm making is that we're accessible, and whatever information you need, you can just call and we will provide it.
Indeed.
Right. One of our rules under the new act is public education. So that, and we have already started, as you're aware, in the Jamaican market space, just informing and educating about the new act.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. And well, I feel informed, and I know
I'm happy.
I know that those who are watching have gotten quite a bit of the facts, but there's so much more to out of this.
Yes.
We haven't touched a lot of the act.
Yes.
And again, the encouragement is read the act.
Yeah, it's on FLA's website.
Yes.
And we also post on the act on our social media platforms.
Okay.
Right.
So if
you follow us, you will be in the loop.
You'll get it. If you are either a licensed gun owner or you're interested in becoming so, it's crucial that you read this thing for yourself and understand what's being done. So, for more information, you may also contact the Firearms Licensing Authority by phone. It's 876-927-5158, and all the other ways that Ms. Robinson has laid out, social media, there will be contact forms on the website, emailed. You can use all these methods to get directly in touch. This has been Get the Facts. Our guest has been Director of Corporate Communications and Client Relations at the Firearms Licensing Authority, FLA, Beverly Robinson. Thank you for watching. And until next time, I'm Theodore Henry. Take good care.